thank you for being a part of National Donate Life Month 2020. It's a month set aside in April every year where we honor, where we recognize organ donors and their family members, as well as encourage everyone to become registered organ donors. Well, this April 2020 is a little different because of the pandemic and what we're all dealing with COVID-19, the coronavirus. But we're hoping that conversations like this that are being held virtually are even more heartfelt, and the information that provides is really actionable for you for National Donate Life Month. Joining us today, this is Margo Gill, and she is a donor mother. Her son, Logan, was a donor, and she's here to share her story and his story with us. Margo?
Yes, hi. My name is Margo Gill. I am mom to Bryce, Olympia, Parker, Logan, and Iverson. I had the unfortunate and sad and difficult experience of having to choose about organ donation for my son Logan in 2015 when he had a very sudden and tragic accident. And while that was a very sad and difficult and terrible experience as far as being in a place where that decision even needs to be made, there was never a doubt in mine or my husband's head that Logan would be an organ donor. In fact, we actually made that decision before his declaration of brain death and asked about that with the ICU team very quickly, knowing that time matters for everyone who is involved with organ donation. It is incredibly important to have the conversation, to have it early for people to know the importance of this, and that by trying to avoid thinking about or talking about organ donation will not change whether you end up in a place where that might come up.
How do you talk about it with your children now? Logan's very much a part of your life still.
Yeah, so our children knew right away, of course, and we were very upfront with them about the situation with Logan and the poor outcome for us, and that we as a family were not going to get our miracle, but that it is there is no room in our lives to not help others when you can, and in this case, save others' lives when you are able. You should never, and they know you don't want to ever deny somebody their happiness, loved one, comfort, life, because of our own sadness and grief.
So often it's a very difficult conversation for any family to have for donation, and a child is so much more exponentially difficult. How do you feel about meeting the family that received Logan's donation? Have you had those conversations with them? Do you want to meet them?
We have had those conversations before. My husband and I would like to meet them. It will be a particularly difficult moment, we know. Grief is, however, different for children than it is adults, and we have seen that firsthand in terms of how our children grieve and think about Logan and their surroundings compared to how Jeremy and I do. One of the organ recipients was a child who was about a year younger than Logan at the time that he received the donation, and that will of course be hard, and yet of course be wonderful to see that mom, those parents, have a child that they're getting to watch do all the milestones that we were denied. But that isn't their fault or their child's fault. It is just what is. And so all we can do is try and change what we can, and any change that gives people happiness is going to be a positive one for us and our children.
And part of that change as well is encouraging others, I would think, to register as organ donors. Is that important to you during this month in particular?
Yes, it's important to us all the time. Logan passed away in May, actually, and we do a fundraiser, or have done a fundraiser every year, specifically to help and encourage organ donation and raise awareness. The time for the conversation is now, not at the time when there is the accident or tragedy or need. That conversation can be very hard for a lot of people. And if you know the answer going into an already extremely stressful situation, already a time where so many questions are going to be asked and you're going to have to do so many things, if you know the answer to the question around organ donation beforehand, that is one less thing that you are even going to face in that time.
And as we talk about donation, something that's very, very close to UNOS, United Network for Organ Sharing, is blood donations during this particular month of National Donate Life Month in April. 112,000 people plus are waiting for a life-saving transplant. And those transplants can't happen without blood. And I know that blood donations have been very close to your heart as well. And the messaging that you give as a doctor, you're a family practitioner.
Yes, so I'm a family medicine physician. My husband is a neurologist. We have always been active blood donors before and after our tragedy with Logan, and will continue to be. Blood donation is life-giving, period. Whether it's that it's going along with organ donation, because it is, as you said, hand in hand, those two things together, or for any other reason, a trauma that happens that has nothing to do with organ donation. Blood saves lives. People need blood. There's no reason that I can think of to deny what it is that I can give easily for myself. And particularly right now with the pandemic going on, there have been a lot of new protocols put in place to keep our blood supply not only safe, but for the people who are donating to feel safe and be safe during that process.
Margo, this month is really set aside to honor donors like your son, Logan. And is there a special memory that you can share with us that you think of so often when you think of your child and all that he means to you?
I think some of my most special memories with Logan involve a lot of the game of dress up and wonderful toddler imagination. And so he was assigned characters based on his age and ability. So one of his first characters in imaginary play with his siblings was he got to be R2-D2 because he could beep. He learned to hold a lightsaber at 9 months old, even though he couldn't walk. And one of his siblings, as a birthday present, got himself and Logan matching Star Wars costumes so that they could play in the house and be on a team together.
We are all on the team of Logan and organ donation, and Margo Gill, we so appreciate you sharing his story. His story is the story of so many families across this country. And so we appreciate you advocating on behalf of organ donation as part of National Donate Life Month, because it's a message that all of us share in, because together we are saving lives during this month of National Donate Life Month. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.